to get in the DoorDash thing. No, look, guys, I talked about it. I talked about the DoorDash. Everybody called me crazy here. I said Bryan Kohberger could be a DoorDasher. Oh, guess what now? Look at all the videos that are popping up all over YouTube. Bryan Kohberger could be a DoorDasher. Oh, he could have had a burner phone. Maybe he called in. I talked about all this like 3 weeks ago, guys. They all called me crazy. Everybody that the segment that I did about him possibly being DoorDasher. Oh, you're crazy to think that. Well, guess what? All these YouTubers are talking about it now. The mainstream media is talking about it. I was talking about it 3 weeks ago. Now I know you guys like I'm ranting tonight, guys. I'm in rare form. I'm in rare form tonight. You guys can see it. I mean, I'm in rare form. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I called all this shit out when I started looking at the unsealed affidavit. I called this out. I said, look, they're going back and looking at all of the DoorDash transactions that happened at 1122 King Road. And this is what led me to believe, could Kohberger be a DoorDasher? Now we know he moved there in August. When was the first time he was pulled over? 2 weeks later, he was pulled over in and around the area of 112 King Road. And I said, well, shit, could he have been DoorDashing? And then we knew he was stopped 3 or 4 or 5 times previous to that in and around that area. It's on record. It's in the affidavit. So the possibility of him being a DoorDasher and knowing and learning that route to drive to it, getting the route down in his head, driving those back roads, knowing where he's going to go after the crime, it's a possibility. It is a possibility. I'm not crazy. I started talking about this stuff weeks ago. These are just theories. I'm throwing these out there. And then I want to bring up some things that I did some investigating. And then I want to talk about one of these photos that we saw with the DoorDash bag with Xana's name on it. All right. First of all, the thing that is still very strange to me, that no one right now in Bryan Kohberger's camp is speaking out for his innocence. Okay. Yes, I know there's a gag order. Yes, I know no one can talk. But believe me, if that was my child, that was my son, I would be speaking out. I would be saying something. I would be leaking some information somewhere. My boy is innocent. Okay. No one has said nothing. Now I want to go back to this theory of what if we think was Bryan Kohberger a DoorDasher? Now, the reason I ask this is we go back and we look at the unsealed affidavit. Now, in there, we know that they're going back and looking back. I want to see DoorDashes, and I figure they're just probably collecting a year's worth of evidence up until the crime was committed. How many DoorDashes were sent to that home? Now, we know Kohberger arrived there in August of that year on the 1st, and then he was pulled over 2 weeks later, about 1.5 miles from 1122 King Road, and then was pulled over multiple times in and around that area. Now, to me, if you're pulling DoorDash records, could there be a possibility he was a DoorDasher? He was learning the route. He was driving there. He was driving that route back and forth, finding where his victim was going to be. I don't know. It's just a possibility. I'm throwing this out there. I'm not concrete to this, but I'm just asking. I'm asking all of you. What if he was using DoorDash as his alibi? If he was caught that night, hey, I'm just a DoorDasher. I was just DoorDashing. What if he was the one that called the DoorDash ahead of time to place the order to be delivered at a specific time to use that delivery to gain access to the house? Let's say he had a burner phone. There's been some rumors of a burner phone out there. He called he called in the DoorDash or whatever, did the app for the DoorDash, used this DoorDash to go there, hopefully thinking the door would be open, left open. Now he has access to the home. And I say that, hence being spotted multiple times driving back and forth around the house. Was he waiting for the DoorDash driver to leave? Now, again, I'm not stuck to all of this. I'm just throwing out some ideas to think about, food for thought. Keep in mind, this guy he's studied criminology. He studied the criminal mind for many years. Maybe he thought this would be the perfect crime, and that the DoorDash guy, or being a DoorDash guy, would be the easy fall guy if he was caught, or to throw off the investigation. I got a problem. DoorDash shows up at 4 a.m. and then 4 people died. We got a problem here. We got a problem. What if BK allegedly had planned this ahead of time, and then it just became a coincidence that the DoorDash driver showed up at exactly the same time when he was going to come into the house? Maybe that threw him off. Maybe he didn't know. It's just a coincidence that the DoorDash guy. And again, I'm not married to all of this. I'm just throwing out ideas for you guys to think about. Now, I want to pull up some things here because I find this to be interesting. Now, I'm not totally aligned with Reddit, but I wanted to pull this up because I found this to be interesting, because I wanted to kind of find out a little bit more about this DoorDash. So there was a question. It says, crew, help me out. What is all this chatter about Kohberger's use of DoorDash? I last heard there was speculation that he had various apps like Grubhub and DoorDash so he could see where the deliveries were going to, and to use it to track victims' movements. I mean, I don't get it at all. I saw YouTube where we were saying the key is to that DoorDash driver leaving the food. Okay, why is that the key? Did he work for DoorDash? I mean, what am I missing? Please help me out. And I find this to be interesting. On this train of thought, there was a thread a while back speculating whether or not the DoorDash app for drivers, and this is what I wanted to throw out here so you guys saw this. The DoorDash app for the drivers has open information. For example, if BK had a driver's app, could he have seen the order had been placed from that house? And if so, was he hoping the driver would be a suspect to frame the driver, so to speak? And is that why he waited driving around so long before parking and entering the house? And you got someone here that's a DoorDasher. They said occasional DoorDash driver here. It will not show you the address of the house. It usually shows the distance and the location on the map. So if he knew where the house was, and he paid close attention, he would have been able to see that the order was placed from the house or that neighboring house. Thank you for the info. Very curious now. Knowing those details could explain the odd driving around of the suspect's vehicle and seemingly waiting, even without knowing the exact house of the order placed, or the person with the app could have been a witness was about to show up. It goes on to say, on DoorDash, you can see what restaurant you're picking up and how far you're going and where it's being delivered. Doesn't show exact address, but shows the map and how far you'll go, and also the state and town before you accept the order. If you accept the order, you can see the name and also the exact address it's being delivered to. I know this because I've been dashing for the past year or so now. I'm not going to go in. I mean, they $234, but I wanted to throw some of this out here. To think. Amber says, I really believe that you were right on it, Bryan, when you first brought the idea. I need more proof. That he was a DoorDash driver. And I want to pull this up now. Let's take a look at the search warrant. Okay. Look, all information in the possession or control related to sales, deliveries, purchases, and transactions made to 1122 King Road, in Moscow, Idaho, for the period of January 1st to the present include, and I'm sure they're just going back the year to January 1st to cover if there's anything here in that time. Now we know August, like I've said, that's when Kohberger was first there in August on the 1st. Date and time of sales, date and time of deliveries, purchases and transactions, name and identification of the driver. They want to see a full description of the vehicle used and any and all communications between drivers and purchasers. So I wanted to throw this out here for you guys all to think about this. Just think about it. It could be a possibility. Why are they looking this far back? Last thing I want to leave everybody with this evening. Let's take a look at that DoorDash bag. I get some questions. What do you see here where my pointer is? What's this? That's the seal of the bag. That seal's been broken. That seal's been touched. Why wasn't this bag collected for evidence? Did Xana just open the bag and throw it and take her food and go back to her room? There could be DNA on that. There could be a fingerprint on that. I don't know. Why wasn't this bag collected? Why wasn't it put into evidence? We didn't see anything that it was put into evidence, but this seal has been broken. This could have been touched by someone. There could be a fingerprint. There could be fingerprints on this bag. So I don't know. I don't know, Army. Just some things to look at. Just some things to think about. Hey everybody, thank you for checking out this video. If you like the content here today, make sure to click on one of these videos up here. I would appreciate it. And before you head out, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on that bell notification so every time I drop a new video or go live, you guys will know. Thanks.